Welcome to episode 4 of the Best Nova Launcher Setups, the series where you submit the setups you are using on your own devices to be featured here for everyone to see and marvel at. Now, I only do one of these episodes per month, and as a result, there are tons and tons of submissions that unfortunately don't get to see the light of day on this channel. And so today I'm one-upping myself by including 5 submissions in total, and in no particular order, today's episode features setups submitted by Amir, Philip, Lalit, Pujith, and Yash. As you can see, each of these setups are definitely super unique, and I think that they all cater to a variety of different tastes out there. And before we get going, just a reminder that in the description below will be the required elements to get started with each setup, including the Nova Launcher backup files, so make sure to check that out. Aside from that, let's get the video underway with Philip's setup. As someone who absolutely loves a clean setup, straight away you should probably be able to see why I've included Philip's single page setup in this episode. It is incredibly eye-catching with that black and white color palette, and I'm a big fan of the wallpaper really tying in visually to the way he's placed that Google search bar widget and those app shortcuts underneath the blowing tree. Now, I would be more than happy just to leave that setup there, to be quite honest with you, but Philip takes this setup about 10 stages further with some super slick added functionality. Up the top right there, just under the status bar, you should be able to notice this super clean date widget, which has been made using KWGT, and Philip has this set up to open the month calendar widget app when clicked, which is really neat. Back to the center set of widgets and apps, and the main Google widget has been again made using KWGT, and the backup file for this has been included in the description below. And Philip had his set up to trigger his alarm clock app, but I've made an adjustment here so that it triggers the Google search app, but obviously that is up to you depending on your preference. Next to that, we have 4 app icons, which are all using the Zwart icon pack, which definitely works really well in this setup, but the nifty hidden trick is that each of these apps are also folders as well, which gives us access to a heap of other applications, which is some really cool functionality. Now, I won't go on for too much longer, but I will quickly say that Philip is also using the Power Toggles application, which is triggered from your notification panel. And this is just another really neat way of adding extra functionality, and it gives you access to a bunch of other apps and settings toggles, which is amazing. The app icons seen in this widget are using the Wycons icon pack, and I really dig this approach to cleaning up a home screen. Aside from that, the app drawer is triggered by my favorite swipe up method, and that's the setup done. Super clean, super functional, and I dig it. Next up, we have Pujith's super unique setup, and once again we have a really visually appealing setup with some great functionality included too. So the wallpaper is obviously the main feature here, but what I really like about it is that even though it is a fairly busy image with lots of detail and stuff going on, we've got this nice black strip down the bottom, which obviously gives us space to put whatever we want to include into our setups. So moving to the top half of that bottom black strip, and this is a combination of 3 different widgets, each of which have had elements deleted and others retained to produce what you're seeing here. So the settings, Wi-Fi, battery, and Google icon elements of this row of widgets have been taken from the Unity Widgets 2 pack and are using elements from widgets 120 and 152. And then the clock widget is just simply widget number 36 from the Europa widget pack for Zupa. Now this is super neat because he's obviously got the native status bar set to hidden, and so this reclaims that functionality but in a different way, which I think is cool. Below that we have a row of 4 app icons, each of which are using the Lines icon pack, and on top of that, swiping up on the phone and YouTube app icon also actually triggers a folder for each, one being organized as tools and the other as media, which is super practical and functional whilst not adding any clutter to the home screen. Aside from that, we have another swipe to open app drawer gesture, and with that is Pujith's setup complete. I love the combination of looks and functionality. After that, we come to a super simple setup by Yash, and I'm just a really big fan of the super clean look and vibe of this home screen, and the way the widgets have been combined with the wallpaper just scream minimal, which I love. So firstly, that wallpaper is amazing. I love the super stark contrast between color and black with the sun setting behind a mountain of some sort. And once again, this really just serves to break up the home screen nicely, giving you plenty of options for placing widgets and icons and so forth. This wallpaper can be found in the Dark Drops application, so I'll put a link to that down in the description below. Sitting really nicely below that silhouetted plane is actually a super cool self-made Zupa widget, would you believe? And I will of course link my own creation and version as a backup file in the description below. But hats off to Yash for coming up with this design himself. I was convinced it was a pre-made Zupa widget app, but nope, he made it himself, which is really impressive. For me, I've obviously got that set up to trigger a Google search, which is a nice layer of functionality. Below that, we have another self-made widget using Zupa Widget Pro, which will be linked in the description. But this widget serves as an outline to these 4 app icons, which are using both the crispy icon pack and the corny icon pack. but the bright pops of the colors of these app icons really provide a nice visual contrast to the black silhouette, which I dig. Once again, we have another swipe up to open the app drawer, but aside from that, that's Yash's setup. Super clean, super impressive, and I'm a fan. Second to last, we have Lilith's setup, another ultra clean one-page setup with very little going on, which, as you've probably figured out, I'm a big fan of. So the idea of having a black and white backdrop, which will be linked down below, is in my mind perfect for adding splashes of color with either widgets, application icons, or both, and that's exactly what Lilith has done here, which just makes for a super clean, visually attractive home screen. Smack bang in the middle, we have a Google search bar widget, which comes courtesy of the Flat UI widget pack for Super Widget Pro, which also incorporates a date and temperature information element as well, which on any other setup would probably look fairly messy, but on this it looks super modern and clean. Below that, we have 3 application icons, so definitely ultra minimal here, and these are using a combination of the Acorn and Tesla Cons icon packs, which I haven't used before, but I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing. Other than that, we also have a swipe to open app drawer, which makes it 4 out of 4 so far, but that is really all there is to this ultra clean home screen setup. And last but certainly not least is Amir's setup, which I really like because it kind of gives off this Tim Burton / Steven Spielberg vibe, which I certainly found intriguing and without a doubt is definitely unique. So firstly, that wallpaper comes from an unknown source, but luckily Amir has sent it through to me, so that will be included in the description. But as you can see, it's basically this really dark wallpaper with this massive red moon dominating the center portion of the image, and Amir has obviously used this to theme his entire setup, with red being the only color to be seen at all. Up the top, we have a day and clock widget, which comes from the Oshia pack for Super Widget Pro, and you'll have to jump in and tweak the colors so that they are red as they are here. Jumping down below the red moon, we have 4 application icons, each of which are using icons from the popular Candy Cons icon pack, but these are manually selected so that they tie in with that red theme. Just below that, we have a self-made weather and date widget, and Amir has been nice enough to send through to me the red weather icons as well, which will automatically change depending on the weather, so that's really cool. Now, included in that same widget is the battery percentage and icon indicator, as well as this red Google search icon, which obviously triggers the search function on his device. And really, that is the entire setup. Lots of customization with this one, so definitely check out the files below to help you along the way. And that's it for this video. Once again, a wide variety of styles to suit your particular tastes, so definitely go and grab the Nova backup files and widgets to get started with any of these setups, and let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite and why. As always, I will also link the original submission video in the description, so if you're someone who's interested in having your setup featured in one of these episodes, then definitely check that video out. But aside from that, thanks to everyone for their great submissions, and thank you guys for watching and subscribing. But that's it, episode 4 done and dusted, and I'll catch you later.